Hi, just a quick intro here before the video starts. This is a segment of one of the lessons, specifically lesson number 2 in the upcoming Ultimate Open Marriage course, as well as the Ultimate Open Marriage book, because you'll be able to get the course or the book or the audiobook on May 28th of this month. This is a sample of the kind of content that we include in the course, over 5 hours of video in this course. And if you are interested in this, if this looks good to you, go to open-marriage.com to register for the free webinar that I'll be doing on the 28th when we launch this. But without further ado, here is the video. In this lesson, we're going to cover the core of managing your OLTR marriage with your wife. There are 3 aspects that you have to understand and master and maintain for the rest of your marriage. If you don't manage these 3 aspects, you will have more problems. You will have less sex from your wife. You will have more drama from your wife. The risk of you getting divorced goes up. You will have more trouble in terms of managing the open aspect of your marriage with your wife. She will complain more, have more problems, etc. Your wife will also become less attractive. She's more likely to do things like gain weight, get uglier, let her looks go, etc. All kinds of horrible bad occurs when you take these 3 areas and don't manage them. And all kinds of wonderful things occur when you maintain these 3 areas and you're aware of them. The vast majority of men, including married alpha males, either don't understand these 3 pieces or understand them initially, and then they get lazy and complacent and forget about them, and over time their marriage gets worse and worse and worse, and then they get either divorced or they end up in a loveless/sexless marriage, both of which are bad, okay? Here are the 3 aspects, and everything we're going to talk about in this course will all tie back to these 3. So this is the spine of this material. This is the core of your managing your long-term, low-drama, happy, non-monogamous OLTR marriage, okay? You've got to get this stuff, very important. The first one, and by the way, all 3 of these are equally important. They are all equally important. You must maintain all 3. There is no hierarchy to these. They are all equally important. You must do all 3. Very important, okay? If you do 1 or 2 and not the others, you'll have problems. You need to do all 3. First one is attraction. Attraction is how attracted your wife is to you. So throughout this course and also in the book, whenever I use the word attraction, I capitalize it. That means the attraction your wife has for you, not the attraction you have for your wife. I am going to operate under the assumption that you are reasonably sexually attracted to your wife, and if you weren't, you probably wouldn't be there. So I'm going to take that as a given. Wives are different though. What most men do, the vast majority of married men, beta males and alpha male 1.0s both together, both of them do this, is that either they were never attractive to their wives and their wives were marrying a provider, or they were attractive in the initial stages of the dating, courting relationship, maybe the initial stages of the marriage, and they let their attraction go. When you let your attraction go, when your wife is not attracted to you as much as she was, you have all kinds of problems like the ones I just mentioned. More drama, less sex, more complaining, less attractive wife, less happy wife, and so on. Attraction is not love. It's very important you understand this. You can love someone without being attracted to them sexually. You can, right? And I'm talking about romantic love, not talking about love for your kids or stuff like that. Your wife, it is possible for your wife to love you but not be attracted to you. Matter of fact, that probably includes the plurality, if not the majority, of most long-term married wives. They love their husbands. Are they horny for their husbands? Are they attracted to their husbands? Their husbands turn them on? No. No, but they love them. I love the son of a bitch. I love the dumbass, right? I love the old schlub, right? Right? So we're not talking about love here. We're talking about attraction. Again, I'm assuming that your wife loves you and you love your wife. I'm using that as an assumption. If love dies, you're probably going to get divorced. So I'm assuming that happens. But the problem is your wife can love you without being attracted to you, which means she'll stay with you, maybe, maybe not, for whatever reason she has. She doesn't want to mess with a new guy. She thinks she's too ugly to get another guy. She doesn't want to hurt the kids. She doesn't want to look bad at her church. She doesn't want to let her parents down or whatever. So she'll stick around, but she'll have all kinds of drama and problems in your marriage because there's love, but there isn't attraction. So your mission, your objective is to maintain a high degree of attraction for the rest of your marriage.
If that's the rest of your life, that means the rest of your life. It is my job as an OLTR, open marriage husband, to maintain a high degree of attraction so that my wife, Pink Firefly, is attracted to me, whatever aspects she finds attractive of me, and every woman is different, to maintain those aspects for the rest of the marriage. So if I'm going to be married the next 40 years, I have to maintain that attraction for the next 40 years. That's a lot of work. It's some work. It is some work. We'll talk about that in detail as part of this course. It is some work, but the advantages are huge. You get a happy wife. You get a more attractive wife. You get a lower drama marriage. You get a wife who is more cool with you sleeping with other women. Yes. You get a wife who is more sexual. You also get other benefits. You will look better as you age. You will be a happier guy as you age because you're doing things in your life that keep you attractive. I'm also not talking about physical attractiveness, although that's an aspect of it. So when I talk about attraction, I'm not talking about you having six-pack abs, although that certainly helps. I'm talking about all the aspects in which your wife is attracted to you. Your wife is attracted to you. This is your wife now, not women you meet on first dates. I'm talking about your wife now, or your future wife if you're about to do this. She is attracted to you not just because of how you look, right? Her attraction for you goes far beyond that, or at least it should. So she's attracted to aspects of your personality, right? Pink Firefly is a more submissive woman, so she's attracted to big, strong, confident guys. I'm a big, strong, confident guy. She's attracted to big men. I'm a big guy, right? She's attracted to men who are going to go-getters. I'm a go-getter. So there's personality traits I have that are attractive to her, and there are physical aspects I have that are attracted to her, and there are other aspects I have that are attracted to her, and I have to maintain those for the rest of my marriage, and so do you. We will talk about that in great detail. You have to achieve a high level of attraction, which you probably already have. Now, if you already have a marriage, and you got this course to convert your marriage, you probably have a very low amount of attraction, maybe. And you may have to ramp up, for you guys, you may have to ramp up your level of attraction and then maintain it. If you have a new marriage or about to get married, you're probably already there. You probably already have a decent amount of attraction. Your job is to maintain that. We'll talk about that in detail, okay? Very, very important. And again, attraction applies to your wife. This is her attraction she has for you. Cool? All right. Next aspect, equally important, is freedom. So attraction is in terms of your wife. Freedom is in terms of you. As an alpha male 2.0, as an OLTR married guy, you need to maintain a high degree of freedom throughout your entire marriage. You cannot be the typical guy where he gets married and now 90% of his freedom goes out the window because now he's married. And now his wife tells him what to do, sets the parameters, tells him things he's not allowed to do, sets a bunch of rules for him, and so on and so on and so on. What happens in most marriages, in typical marriages, the vast majority of marriages, is that as time goes on, not only does the wife start losing attraction for the man starts to lose his own freedom, even if he starts out with a decent amount of freedom in his marriage. So maybe when they first get married, she has the general rules about, don't fuck other women and don't do this and don't do that, right? And over time, she slowly adds one more rule, then another rule. Then another thing, hey, pick up your socks. Hey, could you be home by 6 p.m. every night? Hey, could you make sure that when you come home, you da-da-da-da? Hey, when you wake up in the morning, can you make sure to da-da-da-da? And she starts adding more and more things for you to do, either duties you are required to do or rules, things you are not allowed to do or things you are forced to do. That reduces your level of freedom. By the way, I talk about this in great detail in the book. It's a concept called betaization. I'll summarize it very quickly. Your woman, your wife, has the brain and physiology of a cave woman 100,000 years ago. And 100,000 years ago, her objective was to find the biggest, strongest alpha male she could find, have sex with him, get impregnated by him. Then once the baby was born, she had to take care of the baby. She couldn't go out and hunt saber-toothed tigers. She needed protection from animals, from the environment, from other tribes, even from other men in the tribe perhaps. So she needed him to stop running around and fucking other women and stabbing saber-toothed tigers and playing with the dudes and be a nice little beta male and guard the cave so she could raise the child. She still has that wiring in her head right now. So over time, women are biologically wired to be less attracted to you over time and to reduce your freedom over time. It's how they're wired. It's actually, there's biological realities here. You have to be aware of this. And part of maintaining a happy, long-term, non-monogamous marriage is to offset this as best you can with attraction and freedom, which results in mutual harmony. We'll talk about that in a second, okay? What happens in most marriages as the woman, as the wife keeps giving the husband more and more rules and more regulations and more duties? How does he start to feel? He starts to feel constrained. He starts to feel stressed. He starts to get pissed off. He starts to get bitchy and pissy and angry. He starts to jerk off to porn more often. He starts to look at other women more often. He starts to fantasize about not being married. All these things occur because he allowed her to reduce his freedom. So, just like when you are not married, your role in this marriage, and it's a standard alpha male 2.0 role, is to make sure your freedom is as high as humanly possible. Then you take a hammer and a nail and you nail that level of freedom so it never drops below a certain level for the rest of your marriage. So for the rest of my marriage, the next 40, 45, 50 years, if I can make it last that long, my level of freedom will not go down more than it is today. I've been married now for about 3 years. My level of freedom is not going to drop, and if it drops, maybe it drops a little teeny bit as I get much older because I may not be physically capable of certain things when I'm a really old man. That's a little exception to that rule. But beyond that, my level of freedom will not drop. Your level of freedom cannot drop. Also, the less freedom you have, the less attraction your wife will feel for you. Is a little tiny puppy dog beta male husband who follows his wife around and does whatever he's told, is that attractive? No. What's attractive is a big tough guy. Right, who says, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not doing that, sweetie. It might be frustrating, but it's attractive. So these are inexorably linked. Freedom and attraction are linked. When freedom goes down, attraction goes down. Freedom stays high, attraction generally stays high. Okay? Very, very important. We'll talk about that in detail. Third aspect is mutual harmony. So attraction applies to your wife. Freedom applies to you as a man. Mutual harmony is both of you as a couple. Mutual harmony basically is lack of drama. That means you like spending time together, and the time you spend together is happy. On a scale from 1 to 10 on that happiness meter, whenever you spend time with your wife, you want that, in my opinion, to be at least a 7 or higher. 8 is better, 9 is even better. 10 is unusual, but you get those occasionally, okay? When pink fireflies spend time together, we really, really enjoy it. We've been together now for almost 6 years. And we are still really happy when we spend time together. It's really enjoyable to spend time with her, and she would say the same of me. Matter of fact, her biggest complaint is that I don't spend enough time with her because I'm too busy working. Okay? So it's very important you maintain a high degree of mutual harmony, and when you do, you will have less drama, less arguments, less rules, which reduce your freedom, less parameters, which reduce your attraction. See how this works? It all ties together. We're going to talk about all 3 of these things in detail. Very important you understand all 3 of these things.